intercepted by Goolsby. Touchdown, Goolsby.
Goolsby has been all over.
So it's been a lot of fun. We do things a little bit differently.
The Mike Goolsby Show with Mike Goolsby and Tim Hyde. Live.
Welcome back, folks. A day late, $1 short. Sorry we missed you the last couple weeks. You know, life comes at you fast. Tim and I don't do this full time, so sometimes some stuff gets in the way. Tim, I think you're the perfect or one of the most perfect people to talk about this game. 29 years of coaching. Have you ever seen anything quite like this in terms of the way that game took off? And we're going to talk about Stroman. We're going to talk about KVA. We're going to talk about Jeremiah Love. It's kind of on the docket. But I had a couple games like this in high school. Maybe we won 63-7 or something like this. But have you ever experienced anything like this in all your years of coaching?
In the middle of the game, yeah. There was one game. There's one game I always called it the 2 minutes of hell. We gave up 21 points in literally 2 minutes. We had a fumble. We fumbled. They scored. We got the ball back. We punted to them. Punt return. We got the ball with 3 and out. Gave it to them. They throw a bomb. Literally, Mike, 3 touchdowns in 2 minutes. I'm like, yeah, done. But the start of the game, hell no, man. It was like unbelievable. I mean, that was serious. I was laughing. I was clapping like so. My hands were hurting. I was like laughing like this is like crazy. This is like a crazy start, but then you start looking at it. I don't know. I started, obviously as a coach, you start looking at the players and dude, man, they were just they look like they did against Pittsburgh, just really, really focused, dialed in, the energy, the intensity. There's one TFL Tuli Alamaka gets and just the passion and just the fire they have. And man, it really carried over. And that was just one after another, and then it just becomes a laugh factory where you throw a 10-yard hitch and give it to Love, and he goes 50. But it's like, dude? The Love touchdowns were just like perfect, right? It was so funny. Funny as in like an enjoyable moment in game to have fun with, and then obviously just Love just. What do you average? I don't remember the stats. Like, was it 7, 8 carries, 170 yards, 20 yards a carry or something?
21. Yeah, I think it was 21 yards a carry. Jadarian was 17.4 or something like that. Yeah, it's a remarkable.
Oh man,
remarkable performance, man. It really was. And this is another game kind of coming out of it where, and you don't want to be negative, but it's a day removed, right? So you can really start to think about these things with the playoffs. Fingers crossed around the corner. We still got to learn about short yardage, and we didn't learn anything necessarily about the kicking game when there's a couple of our big, bugaboos when you're looking at potential weaknesses in the operation or the program in general going into this playoff run, Tim. So, but yeah, remarkable performance. Let's kick it off. And for those folks that aren't subscribed to Patreon, I think it's going to become a tradition where we're going to do the annual Goolsby Awards. And it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek. One of the categories this year was the portal potty, meaning, who was our worst portal addition. I think Stroman took it. And again, these are preseason awards. So I think Stroman took home that award. I might have to reconsider after his performance. What a game. And he didn't play well, Tim. We highlighted this on the All-22. Yeah. He's not necessarily a deep safety. He's more comfortable around the box, but the power of the mind, man, that's where my thought process kind of went to when looking at this kid came out seething, Tim, seething.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. That's going back to my just, the TV when they're panning and they're showing the players' faces and you just see this dude just dialed in. And obviously, Coach Garrett's talking about Wally Pipp and, Tay Johnson's out, Stroman's going to replace him, all that good stuff. He's just, just having fun with it. But I think he made every single tackle, it felt like, in that first quarter. He was all over the place. And then obviously the block punt, the pick six to start the game, multiple stuffs, run stuffs, a tackle for loss, just the way he filled in. And his interception was literally the same play of Tay Johnson against Pitt. They just sat down there and robbed him, which, I highlighted on Patreon, where we've seen so much of that's been Schuler has been the true drop down guy. And now Notre Dame has really the last couple of weeks been mixing it up more between Tay Johnson, Schuler, who's dropping down into that that low hole, as they call it. So, and that was Stroman right there. But no, heck of a game, especially Tay Johnson. What a way to lose him, right? Like just a punch out drill. I mean, you do a million of those as a football player. Your turnover circuit you do on a certain day where you just highlight turnovers and you're stressing it, and the punch out drill, and breaks a bone in his damn hand, man. That's a killer. That's a killer. So, obviously everyone likes to play medical doctor. He should be back in this week. That, man, you never know. So you just don't. You don't know how the body heals, the bone heals. And I mean, do you want a guy out there with a giant Q-tip on his hand, especially if Stroman comes up and just keeps playing and getting better? So that's a blow. Obviously, we'll talk about the next one, but Tay Johnson he was on every midseason freshman All-American team, and the way he's played this year, he's going to be a freshman All-American. So hell of a football season that he's had. And you and I highlighted on how he's got 3 or 4 picks, and the dude should have 9. He's been all over the damn ball this year, so he has really blossomed.
Yeah, it feels like he almost drops a half a pick a game, and put a cast on him, that number might go up. But but just again, back to Stroman, there's a couple different things. I mentioned the power of the mind, and they kind of gave a couple close-up shots of his face. Looked like he had a grill in on his lower mandible here. And you could just see that, you could literally see the determination. And when you talk about the power of the mind, interesting thing when you were talking about the passion that the kids played with, and you've seen it really since like Boise State. It felt like when there was a shift in the mentality of the defense, a lot of that credit goes to Chris Ash. I think a lot of that credit too goes to Marcus Freeman, and that whether it's him having, the Sunday night conversations with CJ, it seems like he's so accessible to his players, even like a backup with Stroman. When you listen to Freeman's post-game presser coming out of Syracuse, it's a real thing, man. And it's rare, Tim. I mean, you've been in a number of programs. I've only been at one, but like to have that kind of access, and every coach will tell you they've got an open door policy, but there's degrees or there's levels to the thing. But it's just, the way the team kind of reflects Marcus Freeman defensively, and that switch up and the depth across the board is just another note. When you talk about Stroman, you have to kind of ping that depth piece. But it was remarkable. And you love games like this too, because you get to see the Gordys of the world. Like you go down that depth chart, and shit, I mean, at the end of the game, it was like we're playing like true freshmen everywhere, and there wasn't really a drop-off. It was remarkable.
Well, that's definitely going to be a bar trivia when they talk about who's the player that set the Notre Dame all-time TF, because they set a record yesterday, most tackles for losses in a game. Well, our buddy Gordy is the one who got the record. He got the last one. So that'd be a little bar trivia for you down the road when we're at the linebacker during some of the spring games. We'll start using that. But man, it's interesting. I think, and I really think the last 2 weeks, I think it goes back to Marcus Freeman's demeanor. It's the mindset. You and I have been talking about this for 4 years, and we try and stress this. At least I do. It's like, because I think it's real. And I always say it, I'm going to say it again. He's an Ohio State middle linebacker. Those are different dudes, man. Those are different guys, right? He's an Ohio State middle linebacker who played at the highest level. He knows what it takes to get there. And he's just been pushing these buttons. But the whole week of Pitt, Notre Dame was mentioned like once. It was all Pitt, all Pitt, all Pitt. The freshmen. Obviously, Pitt got the big upset last night. Pitt's a pretty good football team, and breaking them down, watching them. They got some athletes all over the place. Notre Dame was on a freaking mission last week to just annihilate those guys, and they did. And now this week, you hear the ACC hyping up everyone in the ACC conference, and which is funny because Notre Dame plays everything in the ACC except for football and hockey, because there is no damn hockey in the ACC. So, I really think he just has really gotten into their minds of like, this is Notre Dame against the world, damn it. Let's go kick some ass. Let's get after this thing and let's get into these playoffs and see what we got to do. And it's the last 2 weeks, it is really, really showing on that football field and just the demeanor of the players.
Yeah, it comes down to like leadership, and it's whether you can juxtapose this against a Brian Kelly, right? In terms of a polar opposite. But Marcus Freeman's like messaging, it's like he's living it. So it's not just hot air. It's not just, so he's managed to turn like what could be like coach speak into actual motivational stuff. And I talk about it with John behind the paywall all the time. There's stuff that I've heard Marcus Freeman repeat over and over and over again in terms of the messaging that like we can use in our daily lives in our 40s, like as civilians going to work or becoming a parent, whatever is the case. So it's just really interesting to see that shift in that defense and how long the season has taken, and that like the offense was the strength, and now it's maybe back to way the college football gods would have drawn it up, and that the defense is kind of leading the charge here.
Yeah, and let me, before I dive into that, I think this is something for Notre Dame fans, and I did this like a year ago, and especially when you and I were doing the podcast together, on Blue and Gold, I brought this up during Freeman's first year. I never thought he had a message. I remember him going week to week, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And he was, obviously he's a rookie coach. He's listening to
He's feeling his way through it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm telling you, people go back, just Google, go on YouTube and type in whatever game 2022 and listen to his press conferences. He's just like, well, it says on a book, you say that, you say this, or this coach had this philosophy, he's learning it. And even during the Sam Hartman years, he started to get a message, but he was still reaching. And the NIU, I mean, let's just be honest, that thing just opened up the whole everything. And last year, man, every press conference, he's basically just saying the same thing over and over again. And now you got on his Monday press conferences, you see these guys talking, well, coach, what about this? And he's laughing like, you know what I'm going to say. And he's just pounding home the same thing to the media, which tells us that's what he's doing to these players. He's got a message. This is who we are. This is what we're going to do. This is what this damn football program's about. And they're playing that way. We could talk about, well, they got 2 losses. Yeah, 2 losses by 2 freaking plays. Let's be honest. Outside of that, this team has been playing consistent, solid, pretty much angry football since that second half for Purdue after that crazy lightning storm. They have been a different ball club all the way around. And
I love that.
It's been led by the defense. And real quick, just 10 seconds, real quick, to me, Don Schuler. After that little suspension for the late hit, he missed the end of the A&M game, the first half for Purdue. He came back, and I felt him and Bowen really took on a captain's role. And you could just see it watching on film, the way those 2 guys have played, managed, communicated, and it's been fun to watch, especially when you and I do our film together.
Yeah, I just real quick, you touched on that in terms of Marcus's DNA being a all Big Ten linebacker, former Chicago Bear, right? It is kind of a full circle thing where I know I've talked about that in terms of like after that NIU loss, you want to believe that Marcus had, and we've all had him over the course of our lives, like a man in the mirror moment, and I think that was his. When it's that reflection, I'm going to go back to who I am as I grow into this head coaching role. And here you are a couple years later, and the product bears itself out. So as excited as we were about the big win, you get the news this afternoon. You lose one of your best players. I know you and I are co-chairs of the KVA fan club. You were way ahead of it just with your background on the West Coast. But yeah, the first time I saw that kid's high school highlight tape, he's special. So Tim, I think with your experience as a linebacker coach, me having played the position, what do we do, dude, going forward? How do you walk Notre Dame fans off this ledge in that you can get into rankings, who's better, whatever. I mean, he's a very, very impactful player for the defense in 5, 6, 7, 8 different ways. Tim, what do we do?
Yeah, I mean, right there. I mean, definitely number one, his impact. The good thing, and you and I have talked about this, is this is a Coach Bola thing, and led down from Coach Freeman, is they do rotate. So it's not like losing, Manti Te'o, who played 99.9% of the snaps. Okay. And I'm not trying to be mean or harsh or anything, but they rotate, right? They have some pretty equal reps in a lot of these games and all that stuff. So that is good. His impact per rep is outstanding. When you're talking about him being, the guy plays either a stand-up or he'll get a hand in the ground. So you got a stand-up rush viper, a hand in the ground rush end. He's played Sam. Every time they go 4-3, he's the Sam backer. He's the old school Rocky Boyman, right? I love him. Old school Sam backer playing over the tight end, 9-tech, beating the hell out of that tight end, playing in there or getting in that 7-eye, playing the C gap. So he's been a true Sam backer. He's played some Mike. He's played a ton of Will. So he's played all over the place. He's been flexed out on slots especially in the 4-3 concept, when he's had to bump out. He's done that a handful of times. His impact, there's a play on Pitt. No one even mentions it. He literally annihilates a blocker. God, I forget who, somebody, I think it was Sneed. Sneed wraps up, makes the tackle, and the announcers are hyping him all up. You see 27 goes inside Pitt, blows up the inside lane, bounces it to Sneed, who makes a solo tackle. It's the one where KVA gets up and just flexes, just like, damn it, I just knocked the hell out of that dude. And he does it all the time. His run fits are the best on the football team, bar none. As far as filling, attacking linemen, nobody attacks like him. So that's going to be a killer. So they're going to have to figure out a little wiggle room of, I'm talking about, Mike. There's polars. We watch all
this is it again
on film. The dude's a captain with the way he moves guys. He's communicating when guys are pulling, the way he's just shuffling inside and out. He is a special player. So number one, that's going to be a killer. And number two, at least the reps. A lot of guys have a lot of equal reps. So we got to be positive in that, I feel, moving forward. That's just me trying to be on a positive spin of it.
Yeah. And it's like, because you get asked, and this is why you watch the film, right? You're stacked in the room, whether it's Bowen, whether it's Osberry, whether it's Sneed, whether it's, Madden, who's been coming along. And Madden's always felt like he was kind of KVA's, understudy, basically, right? His sort of apprentice in terms of the way they rep those two out. And somebody asked me, I don't know, 3-4 games into the season on Patreon, it's like, what does KVA need to do to get on the field more? And this is what I think when you opened up your little statement, you were trying to allude to, in that as impactful as KVA is when you watch the TV copy, the NBC copy, when you actually get into the all 22, the actual film, he's even more so.
Oh, man.
But the crazy thing is, Tim, he's not playing 50, 60 snaps a game. It feels like he is because he's so impactful, but you're in actuality, if you average it out, 30 snaps a game, Tim?
Yeah.
Is what you're losing?
Exactly. And that's not, and his impact obviously is unbelievable. You talk about it all the time, Mike. Just his greatest impact is just rushing the quarterback. Even without a sack.
Let me get this thought out. When I got that question, how does he get on the field more? It's like he needs to become a worse pass rusher. He's so good at pass rushing, it takes away from his actual inside linebacker reps. Yeah. And yes, the ability to almost pre-snap diagnose something and fire and blow something up. You might not always make the play. He's always trying to get in on the play, but that's going to be the biggest loss there, is just he's so multiple. He might be your best overall linebacker. He might be your best edge guy. He might be your best, man coverage linebacker. You've seen him walk outside of the box and cover tight ends, et cetera, man to man. So back to the question, and I have my thoughts, but again, let's bring it back to, what do you do going forward with your core four now with Madden, Sneed, Osberry, Drake? What do you do going forward to offset the loss and the multiplicity that a KVA brings?
Well, Stanford, you almost just keep the same type of mental mindset of you just keep rotating. I think Madden could, you just put Madden in there for KVA, but KVA's been his the thing, I mean, I noticed it right away in the third quarter, by the way. I saw, if people don't know, KVA got hurt, Kingston got hurt on the field goal drive real quick where he spun inside and you could see it. Someone posted on a Twitter, oh, this is the play got hurt and it was a fill. No, it's not. It's a spin inside and you can see it. He just, man, it's like Boubacar, who, last year, they just spun and things happen, right? You just never know with the body. But, that, and then all of a sudden there's Snead and Madden together in the third quarter. And I'm like, whoa, Madden's only ever played with Kingston. That's his buddy. That's the Trinity League, buddies right there. It's like they don't play without each other. So I went back real quick and I rewatched it. I was like, I think it's that play. And I found it. I was like, son of a gun. That's it. That's the play. So what do you do? Madden, Snead, obviously Drake and Osbury have been starting ever since game 3. I think Snead started the first 2. And then Osbury came in. So you just keep that rotation. So those 4, because Madden's played a lot of football now. He's been playing more and more and more. So just trust him, get him in there, a lot of reps against Stanford, depending on the matchup, what you need in the first round. Does Bowen just take on an extra 10 snaps? I think he easily can. And Osbury, that's going to be something they talk about going into that playoff game. Do we just give those guys an extra 10 snaps? But that's why you've rotated so much, right? Your body's going to be good, a little bit healthy. You could take on an extra 10 snaps playing Oregon, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, whoever the heck it is in that first round. So that would be my first thing is Stanford, play Madden a bunch, keep that 4-man rotation going, which they've been doing. And Madden snuck in some for some 5-mans. And in the playoffs, Osbury, Bowen, you're going to get an extra 10, 12 snaps.
I think you sort of all the things that KVA can do. And he's awesome, dude. He really is an awesome player.
Just real quick on that. You and I spent – we had to apologize to the people on Patreon. We spent, remember, 10 minutes just breaking down the way he bends his knees and ankles and dips his shoulder to get through a block. I'll never forget that. We were like on a pole and the way he fit. It's like, it's instincts, man. The dude's got unbelievable.
So I'm telling you, a lot of the stuff that he does, whether it's as a rusher, whether it's block engagement, disengagements, a lot of what he does, it's perfect.
Yeah, it is.
It just like he's such a good player. And a couple other thoughts. Can we not give these young men some grace? Like in that, he hurts his knee. Like, okay, what's the status? You got people tagging the kid on Twitter and all this stuff. I think we got to be a little bit better and let some of the stuff come out in the wash and give it its due process. And just that kind of bugged me just as an ex-player, right?
No, I'm with you too. It's like Twitter's asking all these questions, attacking the media. What's going on? It's like, dude, number one, Freeman always announces stuff on Mondays, but they announced it officially today. It's like, just let it go. I mean, the guy was in tears going back to, God, who got hurt earlier? Was that Ashton when I said it wasn't good when he's giving the hugs? Exactly. Let these guys go. The family's on Twitter. His mom's on Twitter all the time. Let them be. It's a tough blow, especially because he's had some knee injuries in the past. So,
and I think it's, and we'll talk more about that on Patreon, but getting into the skinny ankles and all that. But I think you could take all of those responsibilities, divide them into 2, and that Madden, you focus on the in-the-box linebacker stuff, and Snead, another one of our favorite players.
Yes.
Let's go get paid, buddy. Like, you focus on the rush stuff. And I think between those 2 players, and it's interesting, though, okay, who would you roll out there if we're going to play a 2-linebacker set? Would it be Drake at 230, 240 with a Madden, the youngest player with maybe the most experienced, best communicator? That's a lot of beef in there versus playing Osbury and Snead, and they're a little bit smaller to pair with one another. So that'll be interesting to see how Coach Bulla manages that. But that would be my initial thought is, Snead, you take over that edge stuff, own it. In Madden, you're just gonna play conventional versus I don't want to put all of KVA's responsibilities mentally in particular on a Madden. Like, let them focus on, you just chew on and digest this section of the play. Snead, you're going to take care of the rest.
No, that's a good point. And then real quick on Kingston is, I highlighted this a lot this year on Patreon is Al Golden would be a traditional we're going to dime. we're just going to go to dime. We're going to play our 6 TBs. This year, because of the linebackers and the versatility these guys have, they have been more, when they go dime, it's been more of a 3-3 type of a scheme where they played 3 down. I mean, there's so many times they put all 3 down guys on one side, all 3 backers on the other side, stand up, mugging it, getting in gaps, twisting, coming off of each other because they're so damn athletic. So are they going to go more of a dime with Talich, or do they keep running this 3-3, especially, I'm talking about on 3rd and long passing situations because they're coming from all different angles. Sneed, going to your point, Sneed could easily take that Kingston role because Sneed has not played a lot in the 3-3. When I say they're 3-3 dime, it's been Bowen, Osbury, and Kingston most of the time this year. So Sneed could easily do that because he's a freaking tear when he pass rushes. So you're definitely right on that. I would just let Sneed, you attack, man, because no one's as fast as that guy when he's going straight line attacking people. So let him just be your attack guy.
Yeah, there's other depth too in terms of Cahoon, Bodie Cahoon, and even
Kia 43.
Say, like even a Rezak, former safety. If we're talking about a man coverage piece, it's like, could you sprinkle that into a package where it's like, yeah, we're going to walk you out in space and you're going to run with this tight end? I don't know, but there's a ton of athletes, but
Yes.
just heartbreaking for the kid. He was having a hell of a year.
Well, now you got him, obviously, then Tay Johnson, but then, Tay should be back, as, Freeman's alluded, just never know. So you just hope that's true. But then on the plus side, you do have depth. You do have athletes. Sneed's played a ton. He's been around. So that's the good thing. And then you get, Rubio. That's the key, is you get him back. Now you get Rubio, as we know before he got hurt, as we've been talking about a ton on Patreon, is just, he's playing out of Riley Mills type of a level. He was just tearing it up this year. So hopefully this little layoff, he's fully healthy when he comes back, and he's just a tear in that first playoff game, because him coming back is going to be huge inside.
Yeah, that's important to mention too, because what you lose in the terms of run fits, what have you, like the run game specifically, getting a Gabe Rubio back, losing that in a KVA and getting it, maybe kind of filling that tank back up with a Rubio who's just been an ass kicker in the middle. Yeah. It might offset that injury. And then there's one other thought on Jalen. Going into the season, a lot of the offseason press conference, like who's going to be the leader on the defense. And I can remember Jalen kind of raising his hand. He's like, I would like to be looked at as a leader. Now, maybe not like your conventional sense as like a Mike linebacker, right? Like we all kind of think of Hollywood Central casting, but he plays with so much freaking energy and juice. And this is a really fun, not the way you draw it up, but like a really fun opportunity for Jalen to kind of flex those leadership muscles with, his role becoming that much more important on the defense going into a playoff run as a senior. It's kind of a plate to the table type scenario.
Oh yeah. As soon as you're saying that, I'm like, well, hell, we just saw it yesterday with Stroman. The same thing. An older guy who's been around the block. Bam. Hey, we need you. You got to replace his, redshirt freshman All-American this year. Same with Kingston. Hey, you've been around the block, Sneed. Kingston's an NFL football player, another sophomore like Tay. We need you to step up. So you're definitely, it's there. He's going to play a ton. Give him even more reps if needed. Rest maybe Drake some more. Going back to your thing with the body fits, is it, maybe Max mixes around a little bit more this week, right? Maybe he does Sneed and Osbury together, because a lot of it's been Sneed and Kingston together, and then Madden's been all Kingston this year. So when they've been in outside of the fourth quarter time, it's always been with them. But
Matt with a hell of an edge.
Mix around a little bit more. Who knows with Sneed? But his athleticism, dude, it's from A to B, there's no one like him. When it's like, it's high school football film, right? We remember his high school football film. He's playing 12 yards deep, and it's like, just chase the ball. You're the rabbit, go. He goes like with vengeance, and he's a violent football player. So you lose a great one.
I can't wait to
and let's see Sneed just really tear it up this week. I think it would be awesome. Let him have a Stroman type of a game against Stanford.
Yeah, just give him that. And I think, going back to high school, Snead can run with anybody. I remember watching a clip of him at some camp, and he was in one-on-one coverage with a slot receiver. I'm like, telling you, man, it's going to be fun to see what they do. And then going back to watching Madden's high school tape, remember his senior year, he had a club, he had a cast on his hand, hell of an edge guy. So, I mean, Madden can rush the passer, and I think Madden's actually got a little bit more length than KVA even does.
Oh,
but
gosh, yes. That's a great point, because he is a rusher, but we haven't seen him because he's just been true freshman, learning his ropes. You're just an inside backer, which is fine. But you're right. His edge at J. Sarah High School out there in the Trinity League, his pass rushing skills are elite. So I think he could easily be that nickel pass rush guy down the road as well. So, because that's what he brings.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. So again, not all doom and gloom. It's just the next man up. KVA in a lot of ways is irreplaceable. The way I see it, maybe his responsibility gets split in two between a Madden and a Snead. One other thought on the defense. Remember Cole Mullins?
Yeah.
What happened in this game? We're playing Gordy. We're getting down to the true freshman Gordys of the world. And I'm like, where's Cole Mullins been? And I'm like, I want to ask Tim, because he was killing it there middle of the season. And then it's like, did he get in trouble? What happened to him?
Man, that's a great question, because I constantly asked myself that and watching film, because we would highlight him as an effort guy, just a younger, a little bit smaller Elijah Hughes plays so hard. That guy plays every snap like it's his last one on earth. He does not take snaps off. Dawson, great get off, but there's times Dawson's huffing and puffing. He's like, I'm just going to fit and not move. Dawson could take a little breather in the A gap sometimes. Hughes doesn't. Same with Mullins. Mullins is just, man, I'm going. What? I have no idea. We've never heard about him. And then you're right. It was the Gordy show yesterday, and it's like, where is Mullins?
Cole jumped off the film. He was like a bigger Heinisch. He was a bigger Donnie Heinisch. A little bit longer, a little bit thicker, a little bit more explosive. But the way that the play style was very, very much similar. But I'm just like, I wonder where I got to ask him, like, where has this kid been?
That's a great thing. And we haven't heard his name from the media or anything, because he was legitimately making plays, starting to get into the 2-deep rotation. So I have no idea. That's just like fell off face of the earth. Something happened, but it's not on no injury report. So yeah, that's a fascinating one right there.
Couple other, because I love talking personnel with you. Couple other just defensive thoughts scanning my brain before we move over to offense, specifically Jeremiah Love. I thought Jadon Blair moved really well, right? You saw him late in the game. Yeah. And Ethan Long obviously had a couple picks. One gets called back, obviously the pick 6, but he moved a lot better. He's much more sudden, much more twitchy watching him play in Notre Dame Stadium than he looked like watching the high school film. So that was a pleasant surprise for me, both of those kids.
I remember when we did Ethan Long's recruit video, Singer and I thought he was very, very athletic. I always thought he got kind of a raw deal, Connecticut, prep ball, all that type of stuff. So the fact that he was kind of like in that first wave of guys, which tells you the coaches are like, yeah, this is our next guy. This is that guy who's gonna spring ball. You know what I mean? He's gonna come in there and replace Devontae Smith, Stroman, those older guys in that nickel safety type room, those DB rooms. So the fact that he was out there so quick and he's been doing it the last couple of weeks tells you he's gonna be ready to roll. So really, really athletic, but young guys are always fun to watch. Burgess is thick. He's just a big body out there. But before we move on,
Burgess is thick. Number 33. If you want to care, we'll get to it on the All-22 behind the paywall. But
no,
yeah, I mean, I think he's listed in the 270s or something. But
no, he's gonna be a big dude.
He physically stands out.
No, he's going to be he's going to look like, MTA Myron or Isaac Rochelle, one of those just big 275, 80-pound dudes out there just looking thick. But real quick, talking about linebackers before we move on is Kia 43 coming back from the Mormon mission. That dude, he's got some attitude to him. And the handful of times he's been out there in the backup fourth quarter time, that's a guy I think is going to blossom because he's out there pretty quick and early with that next wave of bodies getting reps. So really like him. And then just lastly, I mean, we haven't even mentioned him because he's the best player on the field. Is Leonard Moore. Number one, why does anyone throw his way? The Syracuse threw like 3 fades to him that he just shut down. Obviously, he has the pick 6, but I'm telling you, he's going. He's going to win. If he doesn't win the Thorpe Award, it's like just get rid of the damn thing. It's like he's been unbelievable in coverage this year. So it's pretty cool looking at Notre Dame. Obviously, we'll talk Heisman or whatever, but you got Love, a Doak Walker Award. Leonard Moore should win the Thorpe Award. So it's pretty cool to see just some of these guys are going to get some major recognition. But Leonard Moore, the pick 6, but I'm just saying, it's like young quarterback, just throw it. What are you doing throwing it over there? That dude is unbelievable as a corner. And we get to watch him for another year.
There's another couple things too when you really just talk about the tape.
Yeah.
A lot of people trying to get into tape, but it's like there's reps from Leonard that are, again, perfect. I talked about this earlier with KVA where it's like you've been to coaching clinics, Tim, like you'd put that rep up. Like that was perfect. Can't do it any better. Like the technique and then you add on the size and athleticism and all that. Yeah.
Exactly. He's
he's a star, Tim. We got another star on the offensive side of the ball, and I just want to take a minute because we've been doing this for a long time. Me, maybe a year longer than you, and I can remember when I was in my stupid basement, or excuse me, in my attic.
Yeah, the tiny house
up into the corner. People called it the tree house or whatever.
The tiny house with the little
whatever it was. The tiny house, the angle, filming off my iPhone. And I would be like upset after some of these. It was always after like a Brian Kelly big game loss where you never felt like the players met the moment. Maybe they weren't allowed to kind of step outside of themselves. Been talking about this stuff for years. And that's been a huge shift in terms of the joy these kids play with, the mindset we touched on earlier. Another drum that I've been beating is like, for us, we're in our 40s. What made you a Notre Dame fan? Was it the Ricky Waters? Was it the Jerome Bettis? Was it the Rocket Ishmael? I'm sure John would say that, right? These all-time greats, these household names, like we need more of those kids, Captain Obvious, but I'm just saying you need more of those kids to like elevate the program, etc. And it's like you have it in Jeremiah Love. It's been a long time coming, but a true star. All the things he's doing off the field, like with the comic books and all this. Yeah. A lot of off-season chatter talking about how are we going to handle this Heisman hype, right? Is it the school's responsibility? Is it the SID's responsibility? Is it Jeremiah's camp that's supposed to generate some of this publicity? I know you had some thoughts in terms of maybe how the media has been handling this Heisman run. Do you want to share? I thought it was pretty poignant.
Well, no, I mean, it kind of annoys me because it's instant. First off, the dude's unbelievable. It's like, the media's like, well, he doesn't have the stats of, Ashton Genty. Well, he's not Ashton Genty. He doesn't get the ball set 38 times a game. That's not who he is. He's not the only guy. It's like, if anything, my God, it's like how many carries and touchdowns has he lost to Jadarian Price? Because Price is an NFL running back, I saw on, I think it was Pete Sampson or somebody, I think it was Pete, I can't remember, posted on Twitter, like their stats combined is like, it's so much more than, God, someone find it and read it. Like the amount of their numbers, their touchdowns more than like all these other teams in Power 4. It's like, it's a freak show what they're doing. So to your point with Love, yeah. He's a superstar. And when he showed up to Notre Dame, he shot. He's not a captain. And he said, and it's awesome. And this is, to me, the power of Notre Dame. And just You went to school. My wife's an alum too, and I've been around so many Notre Dame people my entire life. It's like it's a powerful thing how Notre Dame does change. Lou Holtz used to talk about all the time. Let it change you. Freeman's talking about it like, my God, I thought Freeman was going to cry before the game yesterday when he's doing that on the field interview, because they're talking about Senior Bowl, and he's like, how special these kids are. He's talking about his own players and how Notre Dame does change you. Love showed up. He's a shy kid, man. Now that we know some of his background, he's shy. He doesn't say a damn word. Everyone's assuming, well, he's going to be a captain. Love's like, ain't no damn captain. I don't talk. Now he is. And he's talked about how that role of Notre Dame, right, being in those classes, being with all these students that are trying to, run companies in the day, and all these professors that have been around that teach you how to, that whole 4 for 40, it's real. We're teaching you for down the road how to be, a world person out there to learn everything. And I think it's taken Love a few years. Now the dude's on ESPN. He's on every freaking interview show, and he's talking like he's a speech major. And I think, to me, this is me as the Notre Dame fan, is like, I feel that is so powerful what Notre Dame has taught him, from this kid out of St. Louis to now just like, bam, I'm going to tell my story, and I'm proud as hell to do that. And the Notre Dame media should be hyping the living hell out of this thing. They should be talking about his story, who he is, who he's been from an 8th grader to now, the way he's matured, the power of Notre Dame. And on top of that, the guy, he's a video game, man. I mean, seriously, the game yesterday, like I said, you throw a 10-yard hitch, touchdown. You do this, touchdown. It's unbelievable. If anything, I was mad. I was like, why are you even throwing the ball? Just give it to him and see how many he can score, so.
And he wasn't, he wasn't going to get himself hurt in that game.
No, either. I know. But I'm just saying in general. But to me, that's just a quick rant on what Notre Dame could do to someone. And I think what it's done to Love is powerful. And I'm just not even talking about the football piece of that. I'm just talking about him as an individual. Just like it's pretty awesome as a Notre Dame fan to see his progression from year one to now. It's just unbelievable.
It's and I'm proud of him. I think we all are. And it's so funny you mentioned that in terms of his public speaking and his little media spots. And we all probably saw it. Maybe this might have been like preseason last year, time flies, but he's up at the podium doing a presser, and he's nervous, as we all would be. And he kept saying, shoot. Like that was his, nervous tick. He'd finish a sentence or he'd say, shoot. And he's gotten like light years better in front of a microphone, in front of a camera. But to your point, when we're talking about the media, and even it could be a little bit of the Notre Dame legacy media aspect here, is like, sure, he's going to get invited to New York, but he's not going to win it. And I think that's what kind of stuck in your craw and really kind of chapped your ass a little bit. It's like, well, if he's going there, why not elevate him? We just seen it in the chat. He's 2-1 odds to win it. So why wouldn't you gas him up?
Well, you just keep going back to, what is the Heisman Trophy Award? The Heisman Trophy Award is the most outstanding college football player. So everyone, Manti Te'o finished second. He's a freaking Mike linebacker. Everyone always talks about Sue got robbed in 2009 when he didn't get it. He finished fourth, but you're right. Had it not been, just thinking of offensive numbers, he probably should have got it. Hugh Green, the great DN for Pitt, finished second with 1980. So there's, obviously Charles Woodson won it. So there's been all these, Hunter won it last year with his, just playing 150 snaps a game and all that stuff. It's the most outstanding player. And it's like, it's not about stats. Who the hell's the best football player in America? And it's like, finally the media is coming around like, come on, man. You don't need to have 28 carries a game to be the best football player. What he's doing is amazing. I mean, he's second in the country in points per game, scoring. He's number 2 in scoring, and he gets half the reps of everyone else. That tells you right there how awesome he is. It's even going back to Rocket in 1990 when he should have won it. Yeah, he didn't have all the numbers because he didn't get it all because, they had so many damn NFL football players. but he was still the best football player on the field every single game he played. Every time the Rocket touched it, you knew he could go 70, and that's what Love is doing this season. So, it's not about going there. Who gives a damn? I hope Notre Dame starts promoting him. I saw some of the tweets where they're starting, the media, Notre Dame, the SID, Sports Information Department, starting to pass out stuff. Flood it. Flood it. It's starting to go Twitter. Some Notre Dame fans, Notre Dame alums are starting to talk about it. It's like, it's real. What he's doing is real, and it's much more, especially when they're hyping up all these other quarterbacks. Fine, they're great. There's some good ones, but there's no freakish quarterbacks that are just blowing up every single Saturday. You know what I mean?
No, they need help. They need help.
Exactly. You got, Julian saying unbelievable season, no doubt about it. Completing like 80% of his passes, but he's got 2 top 10 wide receivers. Smith and Tate are going to be top 10 draft picks. Mendoza's being solid, but his stats are not freakish whatsoever when you compare him to past quarterbacks. So Simpson, the Alabama guy's out. That's why he loves moving up, because I think people are starting to realize, holy crap, this guy's unbelievable. And if he does break Vegas Ferguson's record, gets 130 yards, I think he needs against Stanford. If he breaks that, it's Notre Dame football, for crying out loud. If Jeremiah Love can put on his resume the all-time leader in one season for rushing, how many damn running backs have played in the NFL out of Notre Dame? 1 billion. And he could say, I'm the best of all time. Dude, he should win the Heisman. And I think Notre Dame fans should be pissed off and be more vocal about this, like be excited and like promote the living heck out of this guy to win the damn award.
I love it. Tim. Yeah, that's the thing. Don't be dismissive and assume it's going to go to a quarterback. And it's like, exactly. I don't know, man. And it's interesting too. I filmed I call them shorts. Like sometimes I'll have a thought and I'll just film a quick little video. And I sent something out on Patreon midweek last week. I don't remember. But talking about the offensive line, Tim, and like your responsibility and hopefully like awareness of this thing, and that like, if I'm Sullivan Absher, like, dude, I got the best running back in Notre Dame history behind me. Like, I got to block my ass off. I wonder if they don't take that as a unit into account and be like, I'm going to block for the all-time single-season rushing leader at this prestigious university.
Yes.
And just to give a little bit extra effort, Emil Wagner, make that freaking backside cutoff block that you get so frustrating at times. So, been saying it all year, Tim.
Yeah.
Only a handful of games left with this young man. And just like the relevance of Notre Dame, whether it's Marcus Freeman, the turn, right? The tide turning, the recruiting, all of the things. Jeremiah Love gets a lot of credit for that, or he ought to. In the same way that I gave credit to Benjamin Morrison, to me, Cam Hart to a degree, but like changed the DB narrative, because for decades we were terrible. And then all of a sudden, here comes Benjamin Morrison. It's like Mike Mickens, obviously, but shit, like we got some corners where it's like, I think Jeremiah deserves a huge amount of credit for this turnaround as a program and becoming entirely legit across the board.
And that's what's killing me with the Notre Dame, some in the Notre Dame media, like, oh, he's got to get an invite. No, promote the hell out of him to win it. Like Notre Dame hasn't won, and even Notre Dame fans, some of the fans I've chatted with on Patreon and some of the ones on Twitter as well, it's just like, my God, guys, it's like, oh, I don't care about the Heisman. You should. I think it's unbelievable that Notre Dame's there. We haven't won the damn thing since Tim Brown. So you're talking about, I remember Tim Brown as a kid. That was exciting as could be. You go from Tim Brown to Ricky Waters to Rocket Ismail, all these greats, and it's like, yes, promote him. It's not.
What's funny, Tim?
So it's like,
why does as Notre Dame fans, why does it have to be either or all the time? Because to your point, people say, I'd rather win the national championship than win the Heisman. Why can't we have both?
Exactly.
And there's nobody saying if Jeremiah wins the Heisman, we're not going to win the Natty. It's like, that's not the case. So yeah, go after both. Absolutely. I think it's hugely important.
It's right there. You just keep promoting it, and it's just it's massive. I know people are like, oh, the Heisman doesn't mean anything. Yeah, it does. I mean, you could say it doesn't. Some fans, it does. It's only this or that. The guys that still win it are damn good football players. I know people wanted Genty to win it last year. Dude, Travis Hunter played 130 snaps a game.
Yeah.
Doesn't come off the field. He was the best player. The guy caught like 100 balls and freakish man-to-man coverage at corner. He's unbelievable. So start giving this award to the best player, not just a quarterback. And that's the reason why the Rocket didn't win the damn thing. Is Ty Detmer threw for like 4,000 yards back then. Yeah, and he also threw 20-something interceptions, and he threw 55 passes a game. That's why he had numbers. So, it's a killer. Manti Te'o should have won the award. They're 12-0, the best defense in the country. Go to the national title game. Manziel's freakish. Don't get me wrong. He was unbelievable. But he had one game at Alabama. He won the thing, spinning around, going crazy. But Manti's influence that year was just
awesome. The influence is huge with Manti. Just the impact on the program. Even you felt it. You still feel it. And I think that Jeremiah has a similar. It was with Manti. It was always the 7 picks. As a former linebacker myself, I'm like, goodness gracious. Yeah. But I think that Manti had a similar impact in the same way that I just touched on that Jeremiah has as well. So,
dude, did you see he did like something? I want to say Friday for his comic book.
Yes,
I just saw a little like reel earlier on Instagram or whatever, which is why I'm like, dude, the line was like mild. It's like everyone was out. And then he did something today. Another one I just saw, Dick Sporting Goods out there in the South Bend area. I wonder if anyone went there. Dude, people go online and look at this. People were camping out, Mike, like 6 a.m. People were sleeping out there waiting for him to show up at 10 a.m. or whatever it was, past sleeping. It was like, Duke basketball where they sleep in tents before the big North Carolina game, waiting for tickets. People were outside sleeping like it's a Black Friday event to go get their favorite Xbox game. Instead, it's Jeremiah Love to go sign a comic book. I thought that was awesome. I saw that this morning. That's powerful.
And it was at John's post-game show. John had his main man, Martinez, right? I've met Renee as well. He gave me my chain, right? He gave me this at the Natty. But he went to go to that autograph signing, comic book signing, and dude, they ran out of tickets. It's absurd. Now,
it's huge.
Going back to the star power, going back to the Rocket Ishmaels, I can remember my parents, and we were all kind of raised Notre Dame fans, if you're here, talking about Rocket, where after a game, they would have to put him in the equipment truck to get him the hell out of there because fans would have swarmed him. That's how big Rocket was. And it feels like that's how big Jeremiah is now. It's just awesome and embrace it and push it. Go, Tim.
I want maybe it's the Navy game. It's a recent home game where I saw a tweet outside, and Notre Dame once again promote the living heck out of this. It's like where Love was outside for an hour when he left the locker room. I think it was the Navy game actually. And it's late as could be because it was a night game. He was outside for an hour. Someone posted, some fan I've been out here for an hour and Love has not left. He's signing every single thing, all these little 8-year-old, 10-year-old kids out there. And I saw that tweet and I was just like, that is unbelievable. I mean, seriously, here's a guy who just went off in the Navy game, the little spin touchdown, going crazy. It's late as could be, South Bend. No one, it's freezing. And he's out there for an hour plus signing autographs for all these 10-year-olds. I'm like, this should be promoted. Just once again, the power of Notre Dame, who he is, and that award. And hell, the Notre Dame media should be promoting it. Why? Desmond Howard, for crying out loud, the hated Michigan man, is when they're yesterday on game day, they're put all the quarterbacks up. It was like, oh my God, Desmond Howard, I'm gonna just go give him a hug. It's like Desmond Howard's like, what the hell are you guys talking about? The best player in the country is not even on this board. And someone said something about it. He's like, no, it's Jeremiah Love. So here's Desmond Howard who's like, I'm voting for Love. So done. He's the best player in the country, folks. And Pat McAfee and all those guys sat back and were like, whoa. You guys were talking about guys that aren't the best player in the country. You're just talking about quarterbacks on a ranked team. It's like, get over that. So kudos to Desmond Howard on real Heisman talk, saying he is the best guy.
5 minutes left, Tim.
Yep.
Put your coach hat back on, dust that thing off. What are we doing with Love in the Stanford game? I mean, are we switching up the plan? Are we focusing on getting him the rushing title, as it were, at Notre Dame? How are you going to approach this?
And you just, it's like the King. I've seen people talk about Kingston. Why was he out there? It's the second quarter, for Christ's sake. It's like, you know what I mean? It's, I know the score's out of it, but it's still second quarter. You just, I don't know, man. You play football. As soon as you play scared, stuff happens. And I don't think Freeman's going to do that. You play football. It's like in the NFL where those, it's the Colts one year. The Colts were like 12-1, already wrapped up the division. And the coach started resting everyone for the last couple of games. They lost a couple of games. Who cares? We already have the 1 seed. You go to the playoffs, you're 1 and done because you weren't prepared. You weren't mentally kept working. So, God, that's always stuck with me as a coach. You just go out and play. Yeah, if Stanford comes out and stuffs him and he's got 8 carries for 13 yards, all right, but you're winning, right? They get a touchdown pass, a fumble recovery for a touchdown, then fine. But if he's out there and he's hot and he's rocking and rolling, hell yeah, man. You go win the damn Heisman against Stanford. That's what you do. All these other, hate to bring it up, but you were part of a Heisman game with Liner in 2004. He won the game because it was a Notre Dame. It was Notre Dame. You beat Carson Palmer in 2002, for crying out loud. Carson Palmer wins the Heisman because of the Notre Dame, a top 10 matchup in the Coliseum. You have these moments. You got to go out and take those moments. Because you know what? The other guys are. All those other quarterbacks, they're not sitting back picking their nose. They're going to go out and play and try and win this game.
True.
Pavi has been unbelievable what he's done with Vanderbilt. They're playing ranked Tennessee. Yeah, you're going to go out and play this damn thing. Because if you don't play Love and you go out there and take it easy, and the game's all of a sudden 24-16, well, guess what? Get ready for the Pop-Tarts Bowl because you may get, you don't know, right? Notre Dame's still at that 9-10 mark in those playoffs. You don't know. So you go out there and you play your best football players and kick some butt.
I agree, complete agreement. I almost want it to become sort of a rallying cry. Not that this group of young men needs it, but I think it's just an added motivation going into the Stanford game. And I think I touched on this last Monday with John on Monday Night Raw. I don't think that this team, and it could just be a Notre Dame thing, it could be a human nature thing, but with this group of players, Notre Dame specifically, if you allow them to take their foot off the gas, just mentality-wise or prep-wise, if you give them a break, I don't think it ends up well, whether it's the Louisville game where we're rotating offensive line, NIU, you're doing a walkthrough on Thursday. They don't respond the right way, and I think the reason is choosing hard. Like everything at Notre Dame is more difficult than it would be if you're at your run-of-the-mill random Power 4 football program. So it's like whether it's class, study hall, all the things that these kids have on their plates, if you give them an opportunity to take their foot off the gas, it just doesn't work out. I think you keep the routine. And I just hope that this J Love Heisman push single season rushing record, I think it should be a point of pride for the offensive line and defense. Get them the ball back. Let's go do this thing. I think it could be a lot of fun. I really do.
Man, just 2 seconds on that. That's a great point with the defense because they're the ones that have just been so dialed in, and they're probably over there talking about, man, let's get this ball back for Love. Do you see they're laughing their butt tails off on the sideline yesterday, just like this dude's unbelievable. He's just unbelievable. So no, you're right, man. You just got to just keep playing. And I keep going, but there's a Drake Bowen. Once again, the media is trying to dive in and ask these, like, dude, just like speak to kids sometimes, right? Just speak to them normal. And someone's trying to ask this philosophical question, and Bowen's like, yeah, we lose. We're done. It's like, it ain't rocket science. It's like, this is not, it was a playoff type of a question. And Bowen's like, yeah, who gives a damn? We don't talk. It's like, we don't spend 1 second talking about it because we know if we lose, we're not in it. So why do we even need to talk about it? Same as last year, right? So that was a couple of weeks ago. It could have been.
It was, yeah.
A couple weeks ago. And that really stuck with me where Bowen's just like, what the hell are you talking about? It's like, there are no playoffs. You have to win games. That's all we're focused on. So, and I really love that mojo. And that's going back to the Marcus Freeman, the messaging where it's consistent. And when you really listen to these player interviews, man, they're speaking Marcus Freeman's language. They started to last year. That's what I'm saying. It took a little bit of time. Everyone loved Freeman in 22. You hear Foskey or the Adamiola brothers talk and, whoever, oh man, Freeman's awesome. Yeah, he's a player's coach. Oh, we give him hugs, all this stuff, and then it's evolved to be like, no, we got to win. That's all they talk about now is winning, kicking ass and winning games. So you can see where that whole mentality has really changed.
Excellent work, Jay Love for Heisman. We'll leave it at that.
Hit it.
One more regular season game. It's going to be a late one, but no, Tim, fun show. Great to have you back, brother. And we'll get into the film behind the paywall in the coming days here.
Oh, without a doubt. And then, yeah, man, I hope you and I are talking next week about 10 wins in a row, an amazing Jeremiah Love game, and man, fingers crossed, man. Notre Dame's like right there, right? It's like, get that home game. How awesome would it be for a home game? To me, that would just be lights out, just for recruiting, everything. Like, hey, 2 playoffs, back-to-back home games. Come to South Bend. This is what we do. Just keep that messaging going. So,
yeah, yes, and I like to sometimes.
Stanford's a big game just to solidify the mindset and all these and the committee members and all this stuff. So, yeah, it's a big game.
Yeah, that's right. And as we wind it down, get out of here rather. I sometimes like to give you a little homework on the defensive film. So the challenge would be looking at the Syracuse game defensively, KVA's usage, and then we'll put that up against the Stanford film.
Yeah.
How did Coach Ass adjust without having number 27 on the field? But Tim, let's get out of here.
Do it.
Appreciate the hard work. We'll see you next Sunday.
You got it.